Hey everyone, I hope that you and your loved ones are all safe and well. I just wanted to check in now that we have finished up Unit 4. We're just into Unit 5 this week, and I'm looking forward to hearing your thoughts about forms of resistance, including Las Cueras Blancas. We're going to read about the struggle over language in schools and public schools, so that will have some interesting parallels to the present. We're also going to think about the Mexican Revolution and what it meant for New Mexico as Nuevo Mexicanos were trying yet again to emphasize their loyalty as citizens of the United States, even after statehood finally arrived in 1912. So this unit, Unit 5, statehood finally arrives. As maybe you'll agree with me, I feel like it was a little bit anticlimactic by the time it finally got here, and you'll see why. Um, Again, not unimportant, but maybe not as important either as we often make it out to be. So, looking forward to your thoughts on that. Next week, we will look at the Great Depression, we'll look at the Civil Rights era, and come fairly close to the present in our last unit looking at the history of New Mexico. I can't believe that we're almost done. These summer classes go by really quickly. I kind of knew it would, but it still crept up on me. Um, Please let me know if you have any questions or could use any help with anything. Um, I have read all of the timeline entries for Unit 4. I believe I've caught up mostly with Twitter. There are a couple folks that I need to catch up on um, still, but I'm mostly there. And then I will be reading the discussions and the journals for Unit 4 in the next day or two, so be looking for feedback on those. I'm excited to see what memes you come up with for the U.S.-Mexican War. I always have fun with that assignment and seeing how creative you all are. So again, I'm looking forward to that. Um, in terms of the final project, please let me know if you have any questions. As is the case with research projects just in general, you may find that once you've started looking at your sources and digging into the actual research, that the research question that you phrased at the beginning of the term doesn't quite make sense anymore. If that's the case, that's fine. That's, again, something that just happens through the research process. We have to let the sources guide what we are able to question, what we're able to think about, for better or worse. And so all that to say, if you need to revise your research question, you can. That's something that you can and should do, so that you can align what you're doing in terms of your research with the sources that you were able to find. We are, of course, I think, more limited than historians even typically would be, because usually if you're undertaking a major research project as an academic historian, you'll spend a lot of time in archives. You'll actually go visit libraries, and I say those both plural because you might travel, not just to UNM, but you might go up to Santa Fe to the State Archive. Depending on the topic, you could even end up at the National Archives or in some archives in Mexico, because we're in a border region, and again, it just depends on the topic. So I understand that we will be a little bit limited in terms of what we're able to get just via digital resources. Be as creative as you can in terms of using library databases and search engines like Google or Google Scholar. Always try to verify the credibility and relevance of your sources. That's one of the actual assignments if you're doing the Adobe Spark project. But it's still important if you're doing the Fort Craig project as well. The other thing to say is, and this is specifically for the Adobe Spark project, a couple of your sources need to be academic secondary sources. And so what I mean by that is they need to be sources that are peer-reviewed and or published in books books published by university presses. So you can find those through the CNM Libraries database by looking for peer-reviewed journals using the search terms. Well, use the search terms that you have for your particular topic. But then on the left-hand side of the page, there are ways of narrowing down your search. Some of those will allow you to get to just peer-reviewed articles. Also, you can go to Google Books, that's books.google.com, and you can look for books that were published by academic presses there. I recommend Google Books because quite often there are previews of the books, so you don't have to go and check it out or find a digitized version at the C&M libraries or at the Albuquerque libraries, but you can just read it straight on Google. You can also do a keyword search with Google Books, so you can get to the specific information in the book that you need. I don't imagine that you'll be reading several books for this project, especially given the short time that we have together in class, but you'll be able to use the index, use the search function online to be able to find what you need in those. Hopefully that helps. Please let me know if you have any questions, if you could use any help, and I'm looking forward to seeing what you all come up with.